Right, well, let's move on to, I was about to say nicer looking men. No.
Nicer looking men.
It's Harley Race versus Tommy Rich. This is a rematch of their 1981 NWA title change. And you can tell how big the belt was, that is a 9-year-old, if you like, title change. And for everyone, it's still the big story between the two of them. Everybody used to know their wrestling title history, and something like this, even though it was 9 years ago, everyone would go, of course, they had that legendary match.
Right.
If you'd have done it now, what would it be? 2011? I couldn't tell you who. John Cena, presumably. And the idea that John Cena would take on someone that he took on in 2011 and that you'd go back and sort of go, of course, they had that match. It's funny how the allure of the title was such an integral part of wrestling, and it is now such an unimportant part of it.
Yeah, and it was hard. I guess it was harder to find out about what the results of matches were. There was, you didn't have that at your fingertips. You can find out what's happening in wrestling like hour by hour nowadays.
Absolutely. Harley Race is Jim Ross, as he puts it. He says Harley Race has been wrestling literally all his life. Had his first match at 15. Love it. Wrong use of literally. But out he comes, and he is getting on a bit. So he's returned from a WWF run as King Harley Race. He's still wearing his King Harley Race purple leotard.
Yeah.
A lot of wrestlers, as they get older, they go, well, I can't wear the trunks because I'm not in shape. The leotard doesn't really do people favours. It emphasises more because it looks a bit like a bra.
Yeah, the singlet E-cut and the singlet as well. But it is an iconic look. Harley Race's look. He's 45 here. He looks ancient. He looks like a man who has been arrested for murder. In Britain in the 70s.
He does. Yeah, van driver.
Yeah, a van driver in the Troubles.
Yeah. There's bits of it where you just, and I do feel for him, but I sort of, at 45, Harley Race just looked really, really old, all of his career. And even his body now is catching up with the age that he looks, even though it should be a 45-year-old's body. I mean, look, I am not in shape. Let me make that clear. I am in a shape, it's a circle. But I don't have the body that Harley Race does. And for some reason, Harley Race's body, if you've ever chopped up a turkey for Christmas where you have to chop off the wings before you put it in because you just want to do the crown because it's easier to do it that way, when you pull out the wing, there's all this connecting skin between the bits, and Harley Race, when he moves his arm, he's got webs of fucking loose wings. Skin, and I can't understand that. I am 2 years younger than Harley Race here, and I've never lifted a weight in my life. And I honestly, if you put us side by side and you went, who's in better shape, you'd have to go, it's Mark.
They go, could I look at another person, please? Can I look at Dutch Mantel, please? Yeah, for a bit.
Dutch Mantel now looks better than I do, and I look better than Harley Race. It's arrogant wrestling podcast. Hey, you know who's better than Harley Race? I am, actually. Never been in the ring. It's so disrespectful. Look, this is not a great match. There are some great moments in it. There's a bit where Race does a high knee to Tommy Rich, and he absolutely fucking clatters him with him. Really graceless, but it's a brilliant looking move. It's really, really good fun. That would be my finishing move. Just a big out of control knee. Clatter. Absolutely great. As it goes on, I mean, Race is ultimately the winner in this. This is a match, of course, where it doesn't really matter that the old guy wins, because Tommy Rich, by anyone's standards, is also an old guy, even though he's been repackaged. I feel Tommy Rich at this point must have thought, I thought I was back for a run. I've got in really good shape. The commentators are all saying that. And then they say you're jobbing out to Harley Race, who's had 2 terrible years jobbing out in the WWF. And he must have thought at that point, I thought everything was getting back on track. And now here I am again, absolutely at the bottom.
Being stiff. Everyone just being stiff in the ring.
I feel for the guys here who are definitely, you're taking part in a thing called the New Revolution, and you must just sort of go, this is getting away from us. This is getting away from us. There's a bit where Tommy Rich gets up on the turnbuckle, which is heartbreaking, where he gets up on the turnbuckle and he sort of calls for the move. He kind of goes, "Ah!" like that, and there is no response. And I think that's the only time I've ever... It's such a knee-jerk thing. Even if a wrestler you don't like kind of goes, come on, you go, hey! And no one does it to him. And I think in that moment, if you could just... That old vinyl scratch, how did I, end up here? That sort of thing. If you could freeze that, that must have been the worst moment of Tommy Rich's life. Where you just go, I thought it was over, I've tried really hard, and I've got to this point, we're 2/3 of the way through the match. I've done a thing that always gets a response, and there is nothing there. And now I know I'm going to lose. And, oh, poor old Tommy.
I'm sure he's had worse situations in his life.
Yeah, he's also wearing these yellow satin trunks, and they've got a darker yellow on them, and it just looks like streaks of piss. It just looks like loads of wee has come out into his boxer shorts. He's also, in this, again, looking a bit like Ric Flair.
Right,
and he always had the bleached blonde hair, but in this, it's sort of like he's trying to be a hipper, even though he's older, hipper Ric Flair, with sort of like Californian beach tie-dye vibes. I mean, poor fucking Tommy.
Who's that?
Eugene Levy. There's a new travel show with Eugene Levy where he walks around and goes, wow, my gosh. And then they go, yeah, that's good enough. That's exactly what we wanted.
Isn't he funny? Is he?
Travelogues. Imagine having the nerve these days to go, my father, because he works with his son, my father is famous. Yeah. So I thought what we'd do is we'd go on a like all around the world. And he will react to it. And you go, Eugene Levy, famous for sort of, his reactions are all the same in any scenario. Oh, that's mighty big.